Well, hello and welcome to another V's Cards video. My name is Veronica Choich and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia. And in this video, I will showcase 3 different cards I crafted using a single template and making some variations. Also some fabulous DSP. Here's the image of my original card. I've changed a few things up to make card 1 and 2, and those are the 2 that I'm going to demonstrate for you. Quick look at some main products. I'll have the full list in the link in the description below. I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty crazy about the designer series paper I'm using for card 1. I'm also excited about the card 2 one, but I'll show you that a little bit later. Don't you wish that a 6x6 pattern paper can fit on 2 card fronts? Well, it can. Simply cut it in half vertically and then add. You will have a white space on either side, and I think that looks quite fine and will certainly fit the design brief for the template. I'm sorting out what colours I have, which might match with the designer series paper, and I'm also going to add a little bit of stamping just to give it a bit more detail. But first I'm testing it out. I'm going to have a bit of a play and then I'll decide what I'll do with the stamping. I do surprise myself, so it's great when you experiment and play because you come up with ideas you wouldn't have normally if you didn't have that playtime. You'll notice that after having another quick look at the designer series paper, I realised there's quite a lot of greenery already on that section, and all I really need to do was just add a little shade of purple, and that's what I did. Remember that pattern paper I cut in half? Here's the other half. Have a look at the difference between one stamped on and the other left as is. What do you think? Which one do you prefer? I'm doing a quick check on the cardstock colour and whether I wanted to change it up and have colour other than basic white, but I went back to basic white. Now I've actually used some gold leafing on this card as well. My understanding is that it's no longer available as a current product. You could also use a different alternative such as a gold texture or perhaps this paper. The Mercury Vellum. I can't wait to get my hands on one of those. I think they will be perfect for overlapping over paper and also adding a little bit of a hint here and there as I am doing with the gold leafing. I don't normally do this, but I felt like this designer series paper strip actually needed to be lifted up with dimensionals. So for me, I like to give it some backing, and I'm just using scrap paper from a packet of pattern paper, and then I'm going to adhere it and give it a chop. So you can't tell that there's anything at the back of it, but it still gives it a lift. It's also good if you are popping it up on dimensionals that it won't seem very flimsy and breakable if it has a hard cover underneath it or attached to it. Last finishing touch for this fairly simple card is to add a bow. I really took a while to come up with which bow colour I preferred. What do you like, the basic white or do you prefer the linen thread? Let me know in the comments section. We are about halfway in this video tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please take a moment to like and also place a comment in the comments section. I always love to know where you're from and how I've inspired you. And of course, if you're not yet a subscriber, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Time for our second simple card. There is a slight difference in the measurements of the designer series paper for the second card, but it has the same concept once again. I'm so sorry, I was unaware that the die that I was using is already retired, but I've given you some examples of current die sets you could use. I am calling this the toothpick technique. I'm basically adding some liquid adhesive to my designer series paper, and then I'm going to add some gold leafing. Now, because it's retired, you could do other things such as add that vellum that I showed you earlier, or use some gold markers, or if you still have the gold leafing, feel free to use that. I'm a firm believer in use what you have, regardless of whether it's retired or not. I'm also a great lover of craft, so if something does come in, I like to know what it is and I'm eager to experiment with it. I think as a general rule, any woody tones would work perfect with brasses and golds, so that's why I've added that leafing. I'm now going to stamp the sentiment as I did the first card, and then I'm going to die cut the cardstock. Remember, if you want a quicker finish, you can always go to your collection of hole punches and see which one would fit to suit your sentiment. I'm so sorry about the shushy sounds in the background. That's the heater going, so every now and then my voice isn't as clear as I would like, and I don't want to really control that because it's quite cold out there. I think it's below 5 degrees now. So thanks for your patience. So my plan was to swirl the thread, the linen thread, and then I ended up thinking of something else to go with the sentiment. Have a look. Whenever I'm making twine swirls of any kind, I like to pop up the sentiment which is in front of it. So doing that with dimensionals is a perfect idea. To keep the twine in place, I like to use tear and tape normally. This is actually the first time I've ever made a swirly heart shape out of twine. Normally it is the circular pattern that I make. So there you go. Please tell me in the comments below, what other shapes might you make besides the swirly circle and hearts? I'm very curious on this one, and I'd love to hear your ideas for inspiration. We are now approaching the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care and happy crafting.